You think it's over because you failed? No, this is where it starts. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard began with a moment that looked like the end. But that end wasn't a wall, it was a door. And only the ones who dare to open it find out how powerful they truly are. Failure hurts. It shakes your confidence, breaks your routine, and makes you question your worth. But listen, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every time you fail, you're collecting information. You're learning what doesn't work so you can find what does. The difference between people who stop and those who succeed is not talent, it's response. When you fail, you have two choices: give up or grow up. Failure isn't a signal to quit, it's feedback. The world isn't saying you're not enough, it's saying you're not done yet. When you change how you interpret failure, your whole life shifts, because once you stop seeing it as a punishment, you start seeing it as preparation. Yes, it hurts. The rejection, the disappointment, the self-doubt. But pain has purpose. It's the most honest teacher you'll ever have. You learn who you really are when life knocks you down. Not when everything's easy, but when everything's broken and you decide to get back up anyway. Your comeback begins the moment you decide to try again. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's going to push you forward. You have to choose to believe that this version of you, tired, bruised, and uncertain, still has something left, because you do. You're being shaped, not destroyed. Greatness isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. The people who change the world are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop showing up. Every failure you survive makes your success stronger, your story deeper, and your purpose clearer. One day, you'll look back and realize every no, every failure, every breakdown, it was all redirecting you towards something better. So don't quit now. You're not at the end. You're just at the beginning of greatness. Failure is feedback, not final. When you fail, it doesn't mean you've reached a dead end. It means life has handed you information. Real, unfiltered feedback that shows what works and what doesn't. The problem is, most people interpret failure as a verdict instead of a lesson. They assume it's a signal to stop, to shrink, to play small. But the truth is, failure is simply a mirror reflecting the gaps between where you are and where you want to be. It's not there to humiliate you, it's there to educate you. Every time you fall short, you gain knowledge that success could never teach. Success often hides the flaws in your process, but failure exposes them so you can improve. It's like the world giving you notes on your performance, not to discourage you, but to help you do better next time. Think about the people who've achieved something extraordinary. None of them escaped failure. They learned to study it, not fear it. Thomas Edison failed hundreds of times before inventing the light bulb, but he never labeled those attempts as defeat. He called them discoveries, ways that didn't work. That's the mindset that turns ordinary effort into mastery. Every setback contains a seed of clarity. And if you look closely, it tells you exactly what needs to change. Sometimes it's your strategy, sometimes your habits, sometimes your mindset, but failure always leaves behind a message. If you're brave enough to listen, the danger is when you attach your identity to the outcome. When you fail at something, your mind can trick you into believing you are the failure. You start to say, "I'm not good enough," instead of, "That attempt didn't work." This small shift in language changes everything, because failure isn't personal, it's procedural, it's data. The world doesn't have anything against you, it simply responds to effort. And if the result isn't what you wanted, it's a sign that there's another approach waiting to be discovered. When you adopt this mindset, failure loses its power to paralyze you. It becomes a part of your growth process. Uncomfortable, yes, but necessary. Every great transformation starts with a mistake, a misstep, or a moment of embarrassment. Those are the cracks where awareness seeps in. You begin to see what you couldn't see before. Failure teaches humility, patience, and adaptability, qualities that success alone cannot develop. If you avoid failure, you also avoid growth. If you never push hard enough to break something, you'll never find your true limit. The real tragedy isn't failing. It's refusing to try again because you're scared of what people will think. But failure doesn't define you. Your reaction to it does. When you stop seeing it as an ending and start treating it as feedback, you open yourself up to evolution. You begin to see that every mistake carries a map a map that leads you closer to your purpose, your power, and eventually, your greatness. Pain has purpose. The discomfort that comes with failure, rejection, or disappointment isn't meaningless. It's one of the most honest and effective teachers life will ever give you. Pain strips away the illusions of control and comfort, forcing you to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. It pushes you to grow in ways comfort never could. When you experience pain after a failure, it's easy to fall into frustration or self-doubt. But beneath that sting lies a message about what truly matters, where you need to improve, and what kind of person you're becoming in the process. Growth and pain are always connected, and those who embrace the lesson hidden inside their struggles rise far higher than those who run from them. Pain sharpens your focus. When everything is easy, you become complacent, lazy, even numb. But when life hurts, you start paying attention. You start to care about the details you used to ignore. That's how champions are made, not in moments of ease, but in moments when they have every reason to quit and they don't. Pain is the test that separates the ones who talk about dreams from the ones who actually fight for them. Every time you go through something hard and choose not to give up, you're building endurance. You're becoming mentally stronger, emotionally grounded, and spiritually tougher. You start to realize that the things that used to break you no longer have the same power. That's not because life got easier, it's because you got stronger. People often try to avoid pain at all costs. They chase comfort, distractions, or quick fixes to escape it. But the truth is, you can't run from something that's designed to shape you. Pain is part of progress. It's the price of transformation. Think about it. When you exercise, your muscles tear so they can rebuild stronger. The same principle applies to your mindset. Every emotional setback, every failure, every heartbreak tears you a little, but that tearing makes room for strength to grow in the places you were once weak. The process hurts, but it's the hurt that heals you. Pain also brings clarity. When you're in pain, you see who truly supports you, what truly matters, and what's worth fighting for. It forces you to prioritize your energy and cut out what doesn't serve your future. It shows you what you can live without and what you can't compromise on. Without pain, you wouldn't know the value of peace. Without struggle, you wouldn't understand the depth of resilience inside you. That's why the moments that break you are often the same moments that remake you. So when failure hurts, and it will, remind yourself that the pain isn't here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. It's building a version of you that's more capable, more disciplined, and more fearless than before. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the signal that you're still alive, still growing, and still on the path toward something bigger than you imagined. You build resilience by rising again. Every time you fall and choose to stand back up, you're not just recovering, you're reinventing yourself. Resilience isn't built in moments of victory. It's built in moments of defeat. It's forged in the quiet decision to keep going when everything inside you screams to stop. Life will knock you down more times than you can count. It will test your patience, your faith, and your belief in yourself. But every time you rise, you're sending a message to the world and to your own soul that you are not finished yet. The act of rising again and again slowly transforms pain into power, fear into courage, and failure into fuel. The truth is, resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn through experience. You develop it by surviving hard days, by showing up when you're exhausted, by finding a reason to move forward even when you feel broken. The strength you admire in others didn't appear overnight. It was built through countless struggles that no one saw. Every comeback adds another layer to your foundation, making you stronger and steadier each time. The beauty of resilience is that it doesn't make life easier. It makes you tougher. It doesn't remove obstacles. It teaches you how to climb them. There's a moment that happens after every failure. A pause, a breath, a choice. In that moment, you can either give up or rise up. Most people underestimate how powerful that choice is, because when you decide to rise, you reclaim control. You tell life, you can knock me down, but you can't keep me there. That decision changes everything. It shifts your focus from what went wrong to what's still possible. It teaches your mind to adapt, your heart to endure, and your spirit to believe again. Every time you rise, you rewire your brain to see challenges differently. What once felt impossible becomes manageable, and what once broke you now builds you. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain, fear, or disappointment. It means you face them and move through them. It's not about pretending you're okay. It's about trusting that you will be okay. When you rise after a setback, you're not erasing the failure, you're rewriting its meaning. You're proving to yourself that one bad day, one mistake, or one loss cannot define the rest of your life. The strength you build through resilience becomes your armor. It protects you not from struggle, but from surrender. Every rise adds to your story. The scars you collect along the way become reminders of your courage, not your weakness. Each time you get back up, you build a little more faith in yourself. You start to believe that no matter what happens, you'll find a way through. That belief, that unshakable trust in your own ability to rise, is what turns ordinary people into unstoppable ones. And that's how resilience becomes your greatest superpower. Greatness is built on persistence. It's not about who gets it right the first time, but about who refuses to quit after getting it wrong again and again. Success is not the absence of failure, it's the mastery of endurance. Most people give up too early because they expect results to come quickly. They see others winning and assume those victories were effortless. But behind every success story is someone who kept showing up long after the excitement faded. Persistence is what turns effort into excellence. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. When you're persistent, you stop relying on motivation and start relying on discipline. Motivation is temporary. It fades when things get tough. But persistence is what keeps you moving even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up to chase your goals when no one's cheering for you. It's doing the work in silence while the world looks the other way. Persistence teaches you to trust the process, even when the outcome isn't visible yet. It reminds you that consistency compounds. Every small action, every tiny step, every moment of effort builds something greater over time. The road to greatness is never smooth. It's filled with moments of doubt, exhaustion, and disappointment. But persistence doesn't let you stay down for long. It whispers, keep going, when your mind says, it's over. It's in those moments of fatigue and frustration that character is built. You might not see progress right away, but persistence ensures that something is always happening beneath the surface. Just like a seed takes time to break through the soil, your efforts need patience to bloom. Most people quit in that waiting season, the period between hard work and visible results, not realizing that their breakthrough was just one more try away. Persistence also humbles you. It teaches you that greatness isn't about being perfect, it's about being patient. It's about understanding that success is a process, not a moment. Every setback, every rejection, every delay is preparing you for what you asked for. Without persistence, you would never develop the maturity or strength to handle the success you're chasing. The journey refines you so you can sustain the reward. It's not enough to reach the top. You have to be strong enough to stay there. Persistence builds that strength quietly, day by day. Every great leader, athlete, or innovator shares one common trait. They didn't stop. They kept pushing when others walked away. They believed when no one else did. Persistence is not glamorous, it's gritty. It's showing up after failure again and again until failure runs out of ways to stop you. When you persist long enough, something shifts inside you. The pain turns into power, the struggle turns into skill, and the repetition turns into mastery. That's how greatness is built, not in bursts of luck, but in the relentless rhythm of persistence. Your story isn't over. Every failure, every setback, every heartbreak is just a single chapter in a much larger book. When things fall apart, it's easy to believe that life has closed the door for good. You start to think that this is it, that you've missed your chance, that you've gone too far to fix anything. But that's the illusion failure creates. The truth is, as long as you're breathing, your story is still being written. The moment you choose to get up, even when everything inside you says not to, you turn the page and begin a new chapter. Life has a strange way of testing your strength before showing you your purpose. And the parts that hurt the most are often the ones that transform you the deepest. It's human nature to measure yourself by your worst moments. You replay the mistakes, the losses, the regrets, and you start to define yourself by them. But those moments don't define who you are. They reveal who you're becoming. The person who failed yesterday isn't the same person standing here today. You've learned, you've grown, you've changed. The very act of surviving something hard means you're evolving. Life doesn't end at failure, it restarts there. That's the hidden beauty of every ending. It gives you a chance to rebuild with more wisdom, more clarity, and more strength than before. When you feel like it's over, remember that you've been through tough times before and made it out stronger. Think about it. Every challenge you thought would break you only shaped you. You discovered new parts of yourself, strengths you didn't know existed, and courage that only appears when everything else disappears. Every story worth telling has struggle in it. The hero doesn't win because life was easy, they win because they didn't stop when it was hard. Your story is no different. The mess you're in right now might just be the setup for your breakthrough. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when nothing seems to work, and when every door seems closed. But life has a rhythm of its own. Sometimes it delays what you want because it's trying to prepare you for what you need. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment carries direction. But you can only see it when you refuse to stop walking. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to keep going long enough to discover them. One day, everything that feels confusing will make sense. You'll look back and realize that what felt like the end was just a turning point, a moment that redirected you towards something better. Your failures will become your lessons, your scars will become your strength, and your story will inspire someone else to keep fighting when they feel like giving up. So even when it feels hopeless, remember this: your story isn't done yet. You're still in the middle of becoming who you're meant to be. Every person who's ever achieved something extraordinary has stood exactly where you're standing, in the middle of doubt, pain, and uncertainty. It's easy to believe that failure means the end, but it's not. It's the beginning of the version of you that doesn't give up, the version that learns, adapts, and keeps fighting. Life isn't asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to keep showing up. Because every time you rise after falling, you build strength that can't be taken from you. One day, you'll look back and realize that every setback was a setup for your next level. The moments that felt like breaking points were really turning points. The people who doubted you only fueled your determination. And all those nights you spent questioning yourself were actually building your foundation. You were never losing. You were learning, preparing, becoming. So if you're in the middle of failure right now, don't let it define you. Let it refine you. Your story isn't over. It's still unfolding. Keep your head up, keep your heart open, and keep moving forward. The best chapters of your life are still unwritten, and they're waiting for you to believe again. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message spoke to you, take it as a sign. You're not finished yet. You have more strength, more purpose, and more potential than you realize. So don't stop here. Keep going, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself. Your greatness is already in motion. It just needs your persistence to unfold. If this inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Together, we rise. Until next time. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, your failure is not the end. It's the beginning of greatness.